Speaking of Christian Pulisic, we saw a great article on our website from our colleague James Ali last week. It was over on ESPN.com, an exclusive interview with Pulisic, where Pulisic kind of candidly details some of his difficulties in dealing with the pressure that comes with labels like Captain America and Face of American Soccer, things you've probably heard here on Futbol Americas. I want to pick out two specific quotes from Christian Pulisic, and then we'll get your reaction to him. Here's the first one. Especially going back to the U.S., sometimes I put too much pressure on myself that I need to do something special where I just need to play the best I can, do what I can do, and hopefully people recognize that. Again, that's Christian Pulisic exclusive with James Ali. You can read the whole article on ESPN.com. Here's more. For example, in the last national team games, the first couple I'm going into it thinking I need to overperform and do something to save the team. But there's no need for that because we have a very strong team. He continued, I think at times I was overthinking it and trying to be too good in a way that's not necessary. I don't need to, whatever, overcomplicate things. Okay, Herc, so is American soccer, and I guess that includes us, are we putting too much pressure on young Christian Pulisic?
No, absolutely not. It's laughable, the type of pressure that one would get in the United States compared to a England, a Brazil, an Argentina.
I'd actually disagree with that, Herc. I disagree with that.
Well, let me finish, and then you can disagree with it.
But in those other countries, you have a million other players to share the spotlight with. Pulisic doesn't have that here.
Messi doesn't have a million other players to share the spotlight with. Cristiano doesn't have a million other players to share the spotlight with.
Right, name Cristiano and Messi, right?
Well, okay. But you're asking if he's got too much pressure. There is no footballer in this country that has too much pressure. Now, what I will concede is he puts too much pressure on himself. Nobody's asking him to beat 5 players at a time. Nobody's asking him to take on the responsibility of qualifying a nation. Nobody's asking him to score every single...
We are asking him to be the face of American soccer. We are asking him to be the guy in the big games.
Nobody's asking him to do all that. I understand that. This is pressure that he's imposing on himself. Now, maybe he feels the pressure because there's a $75 million transfer fee as a 20-year-old from Dortmund to Chelsea. Maybe he feels the pressure because there's multi-million-dollar contracts that were Nike and now Puma and other endorsements. There could be other outside factors for you to have pressure on that you feel you need to perform to keep gaining those lucrative contracts. That is one thing. But on the field, I'm sure Greg Berhalter's not telling him, you have to do this, you have to be that. He's just saying, help us win. Be you and help us win. This is Christian Pulisic not only finding himself as a footballer, but as a person. I remember what I was like when I was 23 years old. I didn't have all the
40
answers.
years ago.
I didn't have all the answers. I also remember this. I also remember being 23 years old and at the Galaxy, and my teammate at the Galaxy was Landon Donovan. I remember being at the national team, and my teammate was Landon Donovan. I remember the similarities of this guy has all the pressure himself, imposed pressure of U.S. soccer, because we've never had that superstar. Christian Pulisic is the closest thing, but by no means is his face on the cover of every magazine, or you click a channel and it's on every screen you see. There are certain types of pressure. This ain't it.
Yeah, he's got pressure. I actually think it's healthy that he sees that he's the one putting that pressure on. He's got the adequate amount of pressure for all that's expected of him. He did have a $73 million transfer to Chelsea. He is sponsored by basically every big brand in American sports. So all those expectations come with that. I think it's good, though, that a player at that age of 23 can see, hey, I'm the one putting a lot of this pressure on. And it's that kind of self-inflicted pressure, Herc, that I think is what's dangerous. You probably, as a professional, can speak more to that. I think it's also good that we see guys like Weston McKennie and other players getting into these elite levels, getting into those big games, so because that also is going to take it's going to take some of the pressure off Christian Pulisic. And as he said, he's got a great team around him.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.